Yo, what's up guys? Schizomanic here to bring you another discussion video. I haven't done really a Naruto discussion video in a while, and primarily it's because I've not been in the mood to talk about Naruto. Also, when the series ends, there's really not as much, and technically we have Boruto, but I'm not gonna fucking talk about Boruto. Boruto to me is a fucking waste of time in a lot of different regards. If I would read it, I read it, but I don't feel the need to discuss it. There is no speculation I really want to go through with Boruto, but I did want to talk about something that me and I know other people feel about Sasuke, but I kind of want to put something more into perspective in terms of Sasuke. Now, for those who don't know, I don't like Sasuke at all. He is probably my most hated character in Naruto, next to someone like. Nah, he's probably my most hated character. Like I genuinely dislike Sasuke. But I want to explain something about Sasuke that I haven't really talked about. I don't think Sasuke, the direction he was going at least, was bad. To me, the biggest problem is the execution of that direction that he was going. Because in the part one, when he leaves and he beats Naruto, I had no fucking problem with that. Sasuke's problem, to me, starts in Shippuden. So I kind of want to talk about, because realistically, what they did with Sasuke is nothing different they've done in other shonen anime, where the character is like this guy that can kind of get everybody on his side. But, you know, the plot point is that you have that one character he can't get. And ironically enough, it's always the character that was the closest to him in the begin with. So, of course, I don't mind that being the setup for Sasuke and Naruto's relationship moving forward. That's perfectly fine. But I want to talk about where Sasuke ended up going and what the problem was with that. I think a lot of people have said it. I made jokes and references to it, but like when we hit Shippuden, Sasuke almost became the main character of Naruto. It was stupid to the point in which it was like, well, why are you even calling this show Naruto? Because Sasuke gets more of a focus throughout the series in general. And the first major showing of that was looking at Sasuke when him and Naruto first met, where it was kind of painfully obvious Naruto couldn't do shit against Sasuke at that point in time. Sasuke knew how to nullify the fox. Naruto hadn't had that many changes in his fighting style. He was a little bit smarter, but that was about it. And Sasuke's over here sitting up with like at least 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 different techniques he could use. And a lot of you would ask, well, how would you know that? Well, here's the thing. If Sasuke was never immediately taught the ability in Shippuden, it's implied he's always had the ability, at least since the beginning of Shippuden. So pretty much you can take almost most of his abilities in when he fights Deidara and be like, well, he's had all those abilities from the get-go. Like, I think technically he didn't learn summoning until after the time skip. Dude knew summoning, could use sword, had decent sword training and skills, I guess. It wasn't great, but it was okay. He had already had fire and lightning element chakra. And then he had an improved Sharingan, not the Amaterasu bullshit. I'm not talking about all that. Not the stuff he got from Itachi. I'm talking about like his base Sharingan abilities had been further developed. Naruto at that point in time had gotten a little bit better at his fighting style, but really didn't have any new jutsu. That was the one thing I always hated about Naruto. Naruto seemed to follow the Inuyasha, Bleach way of handling, like Ichigo way of handling shit, where he gets like 1 or 2 main moves and that's all he fucking uses, which is exactly where Naruto ended up. I mean, obviously Naruto gets better in Shippuden. I'm just saying at the get-go, and that was Kishimoto's problem with a lot of the characters. He did a time skip and didn't realize some of the most appealing things about characters in a time skip are 2 damn things: their appearances and their new skills. And for some fucking reason, he barely did one of them and he didn't really do the other one at all. It was fucking dumb. So the first problem was that out of the gate, starting off Shippuden, it was painfully obvious Sasuke was insanely stronger than Naruto. Like, Naruto probably wouldn't even put up a decent challenge, because the fox was nullified like the moment they met. It was dumb. So that's the first problem. He put this heavy focus on Sasuke, but not only, and listen, Sasuke having his own stories and shit going on in the background is not the problem. The problem is how much of a focus that he had, more of a focus in Shippuden than Naruto did. When you think about Naruto-centric arcs, I don't count the Gar arc because that was more focused, because Naruto barely does anything of consequence in that arc. Hell, he didn't even have the main fight in that arc. It's really Sakura and Chiho. You start moving through the arcs, fucking he doesn't show up until near the end of the fight with Hidan and Kagazu, and that's mainly a Shikamaru arc. He gets the war and he gets like the training arc. That's what he gets. He like and I guess the pain stuff. Those are like the three ones he kind of gets. One of which isn't even really like, is more of like personal training, not really like an arc. That was like one of the only arcs about him. Whereas Sasuke not only got the Itachi stuff, he got the Team Taka stuff, he got the Deidara stuff, he gets the fucking shit later on with like the 5 Kage Summit, which once again I would argue is more about Sasuke than Naruto. I mean, some people would argue that's a balance, but my point is that Sasuke was taking up so much airtime, and Naruto was so severely underpowered that almost all of Naruto's development was just getting stronger, whereas Sasuke's was getting ridiculous power-ups and being saved by fucking Uchihas. That was the other problem. The story stopped being about... Because realistically, you didn't have to... Listen, Sasuke did not need to be the final fucking fight in the series. That was the other problem. So if you're going to have characters like Madara Uchiha running around, why the fuck is Sasuke the final fight? Especially the way they handled it, which is a whole nother problem in itself. But I'm just saying, Sasuke did not need to be the final fight. Sasuke should have been a setup for the final fight. Because what point does it make to have him... And I get it, I kind of get it, the whole, oh, well, he's my best friend, and, you know, to fully cement my role as Hokage, I should be able to save everybody, including my best friend. Therefore, I won't become Hokage until I save Sasuke. I get it, but it also undermines the position of Hokage, because Hokage needs to put the needs of the many over the needs of the few, which should include Sasuke's being a part of the few. It kind of shows backwards development. And once again, everything turned into about the Uchiha, where Sasuke's clan became the fucking focus for the majority of the story. You completely forgot about the Byakugan. The Rinnegan was only kind of, and even then, he started getting ridiculous powers on some Amaterasu. Then eventually he gets the goddamn Rinnegan, which I believe he still has, and it was just kind of like, so I get, like, the direction with Sasuke being that friend that he couldn't save is fine. But when we get into this long list of, like, going through Shippuden and Sasuke being more of a focus than Naruto, the story revolving around the Sasuke family, household, and everything, like the Uchihas and shit, more than the Uzumakis that we knew nothing about. And then it was like, oh, well, this is perfectly fine. And that was also because Kishimoto didn't understand how to write a time skip properly anyway. He didn't do the basic shit you were supposed to do. Even fucking Kubo got that right. All you had to do was show the character new outfits and looks and give them new abilities. And he kind of did that, and Kishimoto was like, well, I'll do some of that. Sasuke as a character can serve as a good foil for Naruto, but he should serve as a foil, not a replacement. And that's what he became. That's the problem with Shippuden. He just turned into this fucking Naruto, not even a stand-in. He literally became like, it was kind of like you could flip the page and there's Sasuke's face. Actually, I think like you could take like a manga. I don't have a manga next to me, but take the manga. The front cover would say Naruto, the back side would say Sasuke. That's literally what it is, and you can read it backwards and get this and probably get more out of it. It's ridiculous. And that's a joke because, you know, manga you read backwards in comparisons. You know, fuck, it's not important. I just couldn't. I don't see, and I think part of it is because Sasuke has a very loyal fan base. Sasuke was very fucking popular, and from what I've always heard is that the editors are the ones who kind of push Kishimoto to keep pushing Sasuke. I don't know how much of the editors that was, though. I know the editors had some say in it, and that's the reason why Sasuke even exists in the first place. But Sasuke being a foil and becoming the main antagonist or becoming the final fucking wall he has to smash down is just... It got to the point where it was stupid, and it almost made me see, like, if you're going to do that, and this is just me being real here, if you're going to do that and have him be the final wall that he has to break down, let him become the final villain. Don't do this shit where you make me go through, like... The Akatsuki stuff was fine until we hit, like, Obito, and we hit Madara, and we hit fucking... Actually, Madara would have worked as the final villain. Either that, or just have Sasuke get to the point where he becomes the villain. But once again, you should have set up the story... Well, I guess they kind of did, but Naruto kind of turned into DBZ after a certain point, and it became absolutely ridiculous. I mean, we didn't believe in ninjas anymore. That was a fucking myth. Um, there should have been more of a balance. Honestly, realistically, I would still not argue this now. Naruto could have went on for a lot longer than it did, and it's partially due to because parts of it was rushed, parts of it was never fleshed out, and the parts that were fleshed out were about a character that, unless you like Sasuke, it really took away from the overall story. I mean, hell, half of the arcs in Shippuden have nothing to do with Naruto, other than Naruto either being in the arc as a minor role or doing some shit at the very end, like he does in the Hidan and Kakuzu arc, where he only does something at the very end of that fucking arc. He barely does anything in the beginning arcs. He doesn't really start getting a focus in his own arcs until we hit Pain. Pain, that's about it, because then it's like Pain, the Kushina stuff, and the war. That's it. That's his three. Those are his three. In the entirety of Shippuden, that's his most important roles is there. Whereas not where you kept seeing Sasuke almost every other arc. It was stupid. He always showed up. Always. And it was that whole, he's the cool pretty boy. And I think that's partially what it was. Is that they pushed him to make Sasuke. Sasuke became popular. So they had to make him more of a forefront. And when Shippuden came out, it was like, you can't let up on it now. So we have to keep using Sasuke. And I feel like that was just a bad direction. He shouldn't have been the final villain. He should have been a character that, although was villainous, like pretty much how he is in like the Naruto last movie. Is it last movie or is it? Yeah, I think it's Naruto the last movie, the Hinata Naruto storyline, where he shows up at the end. He should have been that character by the end of the series instead of after the series. I guess what I mean to say is that Sasuke shouldn't have had this. He should have been turning into that character during this main storyline and not like an afterthought where he's like, oh, I'm getting better. Because he has no real sense of redemption. He just gets his ass beat. And it really just feels like after everything they've gone through, he just fights him again, beats him this time, and he's like, all right, fine, I'll put up with it. There should have been something. There should have been more in the story correlating Sasuke's development to Naruto. Where now, when I mean correlate, I don't mean like a mirror image. I mean like getting him to slowly but surely understand Naruto's point of view and where he's coming from. But at the same time, not saying he has to agree with it, but just start understanding it. Especially when he's still spouting shit like, you're my best friend. Oh, cool story, bro. Your best friend that you've tried to kill on numerous occasions. And it's very bad symbolism. I see what they were trying to do that with the Indira and Ashura shit. It got way too convoluted. He became way too much of a focus. If he had just stayed in his lane. And I guess partially you could argue it's the fans' fault for making him as popular as he was, but Kishimoto is still the one writing the story. And at the end of the day, you need to be able to do what you need to do. So you don't have to always agree with your editors. And honestly, you can't cut them any slack because at the end of it all, the story we got is still the story we got. And the story we got, half of it is good and the other half is mediocre to borderline worthless to me. Except for some few moments and some interesting characters. There's a few things in Shippuden I enjoy, but yeah. But thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Please leave your thoughts and comments about Sasuke in the comment section below. Like the video if you liked it. Comment, subscribe, Patreon, Twitter, Facebook, all that's in the description below. This has been the Insane Game. Schizomanic. Life's a game, play to win. And I will catch you guys later. Peace, oh. Because regardless if it's a Naruto video, you're still getting the peace, oh sign. I'm gonna break my voice the more I do that.